Today, we planting all 30 of these bags. I'll just go to the store and buy some lemons and some limes. Why would you try to take his life? Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. But today we are going to plant potatoes. I'm super excited. If you are not new here, you know I wanted to get my potatoes in sometime in February. We still had ice and snow and super cold weather, so I did not get them in. Today is March the 7th, I believe, and so we are going to get these potatoes in. A good portion of my bags have already been amended with rabbit manure and a granulated organic fertilizer. So just a basic all-purpose fertilizer. This is what I think I used. I might have used some of my old fertilizer, but in my opinion, the granulated fertilizer really does not matter. I think as long as the NP and K is pretty balanced, that you are good to go. So I'm not choosy about the kind of fertilizer that I use as it relates to all purpose. So the other thing I said I'm putting in mine is rabbit manure. If you cannot get your hands on rabbit manure, bone meal will work, or just the granulated fertilizer, in my opinion. And then you can also fertilize with the organic or a synthetic balanced fertilizer, a liquid balanced fertilizer as well. For me, I'm gonna use rabbit manure, granulated fertilizer. That's what's gonna go into the bags. This stuff will break down over time and feed the plant. And for my liquid fertilizer, I'm gonna use a Spoma because that's what I have and it's a pretty balanced fertilizer. Root vegetables don't need a lot of nitrogen. So if you are not new here, you know I love fish emulsion, but fish emulsion is pretty much all nitrogen. And so I'm gonna feed my potatoes with Espoma, and I'll show y'all that Espoma before I end this video because it's up on the porch because I don't need it right now. And we have a little bit of rabbit manure in here, so we would have more. Yesterday, I asked my daughter if she would clean their litter boxes, and I guess normally she doesn't do the full cleaning. I guess I do that every morning. And I just love hanging out with them and just, you know, doing that. It's relaxing to me. So she dumped the cedar pellets, the manure and everything out into the bucket. And I was like, no ma'am, that's not how we do this. So that's over there. I'm trying to let it dry and hopefully I can separate it. But right now, this is what we have. We only have 4 bags that we are amending in the first place. So with that being said, I've been doing like 2 handfuls of manure and then a handful of granulated fertilizer in my bag. So I think that this will be enough to do these 4 bags that we have left. And then I want to go ahead and get all of the bags planted. We are doing 30 bags of potatoes this year. I am very hopeful, y'all. I'm so hopeful. I think I showed y'all earlier this week that the potatoes had chitted. And so for this one, because it's so small, I'll put this one and maybe like this one in the bag together. So I'm gonna put 2 into each one of my bags. I do not heel my potatoes. I plant them really deep in my 7-gallon grow bags and they end up coming up out of the soil and I end up getting potatoes. Someone asked me one time, like, how are you gonna get potatoes if you don't heel? It has never stopped me from growing potatoes and I've never healed in these grow bags. So I'm not telling anybody else not to. I'm just sharing how I plant my potatoes and I don't heal them. I have seen people plant some on one level, some on another level. I'm not doing that either. I'm just gonna dig a deep hole and I'm gonna drop them down in there. So I think that's pretty much what I need to let y'all know. Now, let's say we had a potato this size and there was chitting on an eye down here and chitting on an eye down here. I would cut it and use one eye on in each section, but we don't have that as a situation. So for this one, I probably just plant this whole potato. This is a blue variety. I'm also growing Kennebec. Hold on, let me see. Oh, Yukon for sure. And there's one more, 1 second. I'm also planting red Nolan. So hopefully we have enough chitted potatoes. If we don't have enough chitted potatoes, I still have potatoes in the house. The potatoes do not have to be chitted. I live in an urban space and it's a very beautiful day, so it's a lot of noise. People riding motorcycles, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, they should sprout through the soil quicker if they are chitted. But chitted or not, they will still grow. May just take a little bit longer. So that's what I think I need to let you know. Now we gonna get around to going ahead and planting. Y'all, I got a lot of stuff done. I did not record all of it, mostly because I did a lot of planting of flowers, and I showed y'all how I plant the snapdragons, calendula, and the chamomile, and I did the rest of the flowers like that. So the ranunculus are in now. Flowers and herbs. The ranunculus is in now. Cilantro's in. Dill is in. I'm gonna figure out the saffron this week too. I'm gonna show y'all before we end this video, hopefully. Let's get to work, and then for sure. Also, got my leek and potato soup green stock planted out. A lot of the onions, shallots, and leeks, I got those planted out in green stalks. I now know exactly what I need to start because some of these green stalks were not supposed to be available. I got a lot done, y'all. I'm very proud of that. Let's get these bags amended. Okay, so these bags were growing purple sprouting broccoli. They did not make it through the cold, so we still have not successfully grown purple sprouting broccoli. I always pull my root ball out. I come through and I move the soil around. This soil feels really good. I believe the soil that's in this bag is black cow. That is a compost. And then I also believe there's Kellogg's container soil in these bags. If you're interested to know what kind of soil is in this bag, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. These are 7-gallon grow bags. I grow potatoes in bags like this, tomatoes, and peppers. I've also grown carrots in it. I also do fall gardening in them, so broccoli and stuff like that. My thought is if you can grow it in the garden, like in a raised bed, you can grow it in a bag. Now, you may notice that there is some hay in here. I am not really concerned with it. It's not a lot, and it'll break down over time and feed the soil, I do believe. So I put 2 handfuls in there that time. It's not gonna hurt anything, because with grow bags, whatever you give it as a nutrients is gonna be what it has. So it's never hurt it what looked like over fertilized. I do mix everything in just so that it can start to break down. That is what I do. And then I'm going to dig a hole, pretty deep hole. I think y'all can see that. And then I'm just gonna drop this potato. We have 2 decent eyes. So there's one right there, there's one right there, but you can see there's a few more. But we just gonna drop that down in the bag and we're gonna cover that back up. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and put the other potato in here. And so rabbit manure is one of the manures that does not have to compost. And you can take it straight out of their litter box or wherever it is. My rabbits are inside, so they have litter boxes and you can put it right into the soil. Now, some people do dry their manure in case there's any urine in it. I really don't do that unless I notice that it's growing the stuff that looks like fur in the bucket. But if it doesn't, I don't dry it, just like you just saw. And so now we're just gonna drop a little bit of the straw back over it. And so that is pretty much all I do to plant out potatoes. And now, like I said, if it was a larger potato that had eyes all over it, I would cut it. And I did bring a knife outside with me because when I see those, I am going to cut them so that I can get more bang for my buck, honestly. Because if I cut the potato, I can use 1 potato for 1 bag instead of using 2 potatoes for 1 bag. Today, we planting all 30 of these bags. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so that's another reason why I kind of want to get everything that I want planted now out now, because with it raining afterwards, it's a good way to get the plants settled into their space because the rain is gonna help. Let me get this stuff planted. So I'm probably gonna put us in speed up mode. Somebody told me it was time lapse. It's the same thing, y'all. Let's get these potatoes planted. All right, y'all, so all 30 bags are empty. I'm super excited. So these are all blue. Blue is one of my favorites. These are all Yukon Golds. That is also one of my favorites. Down here, these last 4 are red Nolan. And then from here and back up is Kennebec. So I'm very excited. Finally got the potatoes planted. I have found in previous years that potatoes like to get started in cooler weather, which is why I wanted them to go out in February. I couldn't, but now I was like, I need to get them out as soon as I can. So now our potatoes are planted. I cannot wait. I am hoping for a very good harvest. My harvest last year was not great either. So I'm hoping that this year is different. The year before, it was pretty good though. So I'm hoping this year is different. Now, planting potatoes in bags, once it warms up, it's kind of hard to keep the bags moist, but you kind of have to, because potatoes like to have a good amount of moisture in their soil. When it is time to harvest them, you want to stop watering for like a week before you harvest them. And you will know that it's time to harvest most potato varieties because the plant will die back. You will also see potatoes flower. Those flowers are not edible because they do produce, I think, a little berry. They are not edible. You should not eat them. Some people take them off, some people don't. I do whatever I do in the moment. It's just me out here, and I know that you cannot eat them. But we will follow these potatoes. Like I said, oh, let me show you the liquid fertilizer I'm planning to use. It's a pretty balanced fertilizer. This is the one that I'm planning to use. It is a 222, so it's actually a very balanced fertilizer, exactly balanced. I couldn't remember, and I think they tell you to use this, repeat every 2 to 4 weeks throughout the growing season. So you don't need a lot of it either. I got this on sale from Tractor Supply this year, and so I bought a whole bunch of it. So I'm hopeful to be able to use that this year on my potatoes, my tomatoes, my peppers, all things that like bloom, if that makes sense. So we got our potatoes planted. Let me show you something I did, and I know somebody gonna be like, where the citrus at? Let me just show you the citrus before I show you what I did. So the citrus is over here. If it starts to grow leaves, great. If it doesn't, also whatever. I'm not worrying about it. It's supposed to rain, so they will get rained on, hopefully moistened. We can see what happens from there. I said in another video that like, if I had done what I was supposed to do by those, it would have been a lot of work. If I can't just put them in this greenhouse and maybe put another greenhouse over it, then I don't want to have to deal with them. So if they live, that would be great. If they don't, I'll just go to the store and buy some lemons and some limes. But what I did do, because I'm in and out of here quite often right now, I did go ahead and put 2 tables in here, and this is where all of our seedlings are. But the seedlings are looking real good, y'all. Just figure I'd give y'all end of week update after we did the potatoes. So this is all basil. We got basil right here. I don't think this is basil. No, that's an aster that's not doing great. But this is basil. These eggplant are not doing great. Pretty sure I'm going to have to purchase eggplants. But the peppers are doing real good. So these are all of our peppers right there. And then there's more peppers back here. This one might need to be watered. And then our dahlias, y'all. I'm so excited about these dahlias. I haven't had good dahlias in a couple of years, so I'm very excited. I started them kind of early because of that reason. I wanted them, and I wanted them to be nice. Our saffron, hopefully we'll be getting this planted out soon. And then you have, these are shishito peppers that are much further along than the rest of the peppers. I use these to do content, so I planted them much earlier. And then our one Maraski, very pretty. And then over here, we still have leeks left. These leeks are gonna go out into one of the block garden beds, probably both at this point because I'm out of onions, but I have to amend those garden beds first. These are all the leeks we have left. Back here are our lupin, looking just amazing. Can't wait to get those out. And then there's some Swiss chard. I need to put that somewhere, and a few more snapdragons are left as well. But the seedlings are looking really good. The greenhouse is looking good. These plants are getting bigger. Like, I can tell that they're getting bigger. I did fertilize them. I'll also be fertilizing tomorrow, and we are going to fertilize the garlic as well. By the way, I'm seeing something that appears to look like allium leaf miner. I sure hope that is not the case. Only reason why I say that is because this is how my onions were looking, but they don't all look like that. So that's a plus right now. I am seeing something that looks like it. I'm crossing my fingers though, because girl, no, please, not this year too. And then over here, our cabbages are looking better. I think this needed water and fertilizer. But yeah, our cabbages are looking better. These are all broccoli. They are looking good as well. And right now at, I want to say probably 5 o'clock or so, it's 76 degrees. It's 5:47, so almost 6. 76 degrees in here. But y'all, it was actually like 100 something in here the other day because I forgot to open it. That is not good for my cold loving crops. But But, oh, let me show y'all the garlic that we planted out early and late. This is my earliest sowing and my latest sowing. So I want to say September and November. Over here are the September. I'm going to fertilize these tomorrow as well. Hopefully I can get out here in between the rain, and maybe I'll wait until Monday just because I don't want the rain to like wash the fertilizer out. I am going to use fish emulsion for these. And then these are the ones we planted in November. And y'all remember I kept saying I thought it was a line going through here. I'm assuming it wasn't. There was just 2 lines because I can't imagine all 4 didn't come up. I think I only planted 8, which is fine. This is a California late garlic. And then this is something that I got from the farmer's market. So I don't know what kind it is, but they look really good. We got a little bit of yellow in, but I imagine that's from like all winter under snow, under ice, but they bounce back really nicely. If you have not been here, these have literally been under the ice that I have been talking about. We had ice for 2 weeks. They were under them. Once it warmed up, they all popped up. These are the best looking garlic plants I have ever had. In my 6 years of gardening, they're the best I've ever had. And the ones in the greenhouse, honestly, and the ones in the greenstocks. I'm gonna show y'all the greenstocks real quick too. These Brussels sprouts are about to flower. So I just happened to come out here earlier today, just kind of looking around, and yeah, they're about to flower. Let me show you. See that? They're about to flower. So we're gonna pull these out, and I feel like this is where I'm gonna put my saffron. Saffron, as I understand it, in my area is perennial, so this will be a perennial bed of saffron. I'm gonna pull these out. What we had slated to be here was asters and sunflowers, dwarf sunflowers. Thing is, my asters didn't do well. I could put dwarf sunflowers somewhere else. They're going to flower, and the Brussels sprouts just look terrible anyway. And I pulled one off earlier, and it's very soft. It was soft when it came off, but most of them look like this. They're open. So next week or tomorrow, honestly, if I can get out here in the rain, we are going to get all of these pulled. They don't look great. I am thinking I really need to get Brussels sprouts out earlier. Like, I normally get my fall stuff out in August or September, I think, something like that. I'm really thinking I need to get them out in July, and I might have to cover or really watch them, because in July it's still going to be hot. That's gonna be number 1. And number 2, there's gonna be a lot of pests out here. But we'll see how it goes. These plants grew nicely, but we just couldn't get them ready before it got too cold. Now it's too hot again. Girl. So the elderberry made it through transplant just fine, and we are happy to see that. And you can see right here, we still got green, and actually we have more green than we had before, so happy about that. The other thing I did was I put the dill in here. I also put some ranunculus in here, because if that piece of stick is good to go, it won't be good to move into this bed this year. It'll be sometime next year or fall. So I was like, well, we can use this bed for some spring stuff, and then in summer we can put some else in here with this elderberry. Unless by summer this elderberry is huge and we don't have space, then we won't put anything else in here. But for now, that's what we're gonna do. So there's ranunculus, dill, and some of the carrots are growing back. I don't know if I didn't pull them up or if it's the seeds starting to grow. I don't know. This will be a bed of stuff. By the way, these are blueberries, y'all. They were green when I scratched them, but literally they weren't actually alive. So I went ahead and pulled those out. So we actually now have 4 bags that we can use for something else, which is fine. We'll figure that out. I did pull on this elderberry, and it's not budging. You see that? So actually, I think I was watching Salty Dog Homestead, and he said the green doesn't mean anything, and he was like, pull on it. And I guess that's how you know if you got roots. So the next day I came outside and I did that. So thank you, Salty Dog, because that's how I realized them blueberries won't doing nothing, but my elderberry is. So I'm very excited about that. I appreciate that video. You are needed in our community, sir. Okay, the next thing is I put some ranunculus here. So here's the thing. I was saying I didn't know if I could put the ranunculus out right now. Ranunculus are not going to go through summer. Ranunculus is a spring flower, which I think I've mentioned. And so somebody was telling me that, and I did know that. What I didn't know is how low of a temperature the actual plant could take. So when I looked it up, I found between 25 and 29. I don't think we're gonna get down that low, but where where they are. If we did, I could put some frost blanket over it because I do have things to cover for cold and heat. I just don't use it normally. So for these though, if I don't get them out now, it's a possibility that I'm not gonna get any ranunculus. And so if I have to cover them, if we get down that low, I will. And now I know for myself that between 25 and, well, I don't know for myself. I found it on the internet. We will find out if we get down to those temperatures, if these flowers can take it. Well, the plants can take it. Ranunculus are very, very pretty flowers and I really, really want some. I have wanted to grow them for years, never did it successfully. The only time that I did was for a few weeks. It was a small portion of time in spring, but I got the plant from Lowe's. This time I started them myself. Thank you to the person who sent me the ranunculus corms. I'm very excited. I'm happy to have them in my garden this year, and it is thanks to you. So thank you again. The snapdragons are looking good. We planted these out earlier this week. There's one that when I was planting these ranunculus back here, I mistakenly broke it. It's right here. But I left it because I know that it can grow back if I give it time. There was a whole leaf sitting on it. Why would you try to take his life? Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So we got to seed them back there. That is comes back every year. But we also put ranunculus back here. Like I said, I want to have my dahlias and some zinnias back here. By the time it's time to plant those, this ranunculus will more than likely be gone. But we will see. But yeah, snapdragons looking very nice. Listen, I cannot say for sure. I can't say for sure, but I can say with a little bit of certainty that the Bootstrap Farmer trays are really helping with transplant shock, y'all. Like I have had plants just go through straight shock every time I plant them out when they are in the enclosed trays that don't have root pruning. I didn't have any transplant shock, and I mentioned this last year, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I didn't talk about it a lot. But I really do think that they have something to do with the fact that none of my plants have had transplant shock. And I planted these plants out in the middle of the day, not telling nobody to do it. I'm just mentioning that this has happened for me. So I'm just putting that out there. Same thing in the greenhouse. Like none of that stuff went through transplant shock. And you remember those plants were pretty big and they're growing, doing well. Hold on. Let me show you the calendula and the chamomile. So calendula, no transplant shock. Chamomile, no transplant shock. Everything just looking real good. I'm super excited. I'm also not really seeing as many aphids on this stuff now that I've gotten it outside. I'm still concerned about my peppers, but I'm also not seeing as many on the peppers either now that they are outside. They're in the greenhouse, but they're still outside, not inside my house. And somebody said, are we sure they aphids and not nets? Oh no, I'm sure they aphids, and I had them last year. I'm 100% sure that they are aphids. But now that this stuff is outside, they seem to be either moving on to something else outside, or maybe something out here is eating them. Y'all, I really got to get to the top of this greenhouse and fix that. I knew I needed to, but I just looked up here and I was like, girl, let me see if y'all can see. Can y'all see? You probably can't. Maybe a little bit. I need to get to the back and pull it tighter. I really want to make sure I keep this greenhouse up because I am loving it and it is working out really well. Oh, I want to show y'all the quick tent greenhouse too. You're going to be surprised about that because I know I was. Oh, girl, this is turning into a garden tour. Anyway, so the strawberry greenstock, y'all remember I put strawberries in it. I also need to put something over on this side because it is absolutely tilting. This year I am going to get the pavers. I just haven't done that yet. We also made this snow greenstock or strawberry one. I want to get a lot of strawberries, y'all, and not for the reason that you think. I do want to make jam and jelly, but that's not the main reason. I want to put them in the freeze dryer. Y'all, I have been eating them and I don't eat them a lot because I know that the sugars are more concentrated once you dry them like that. Anyway, I put them in my yogurt in the morning, and sometimes I just throw it in my mouth as a snack, which is better than me eating candy. So I want a good amount so I can make a few things of jam, but I want to be able to do a nice size run in the freeze dryer. Like I loved it. So we have 2 strawberry green stalks now, and then the Inventors bundles also has strawberries at the top. So I think that should be good. That's like a small strawberry patch. I love that for me. So I also got the cilantro planted. I put it into into the herb green stock because it is a herb. While it's not perennial, it is still a herb. This is gonna be a herb green stock too. If you remember, it was supposed to go in the chicken area, but we don't have a lot of sun over there. So this is gonna be a herb green stock. Y'all, look at these chives. They have taken over. I think I'm gonna pull these out and separate them and put some over here too. But this is the Inventor's Bundle I was telling you. So you got strawberries up here already starting to flower. These are from last year. So the top 3 are leaf planters and then the bottom are original. The bottom's gonna have beans for the summer. But if you remember, I told you I was out of leeks and onion starts because I filled this black planter back up with onions and shallots. So we'll see how this goes this spring. And I also filled this one back up with onions and shallots. They both have onions and shallots in them. Hopefully we can get us a nice harvest since overwintering did not work because of the weather that we had. And then this one is the one where we have celery at the bottom. We have potatoes in the middle. And then we have, what do you call these things? Leeks at the top. So this is basically a leek and potato soup green stock. Everything in here I can use for leek and potato soup. I'm excited about that. I did this yesterday. I'm very hopeful for the rain so that things can stand up like this, but I think that everything looks good. This is going to be zucchini, squash, and watermelon in the summer. So we'll see how that goes. This is going to be tomatoes, nasturtiums, marigolds in the summer. This is going to be peppers, nasturtiums, marigolds, calendula in the summer. So that's one of the reasons why I rushed to get these filled so I could see what I had left, so I could see if I needed to start anything. The only things that I need to start at this point are some more Supremo tomatoes, because somehow I did not remember that I said I was putting tomatoes in the block bed, one of the block beds. So I need to do that, and then I need to start some more miniature type or patio or container type tomatoes for the green one. But other than that, we are good on seed starts, I do believe, until our 2 weeks. Then we got to start anyway. But let me show y'all the Quick 10 greenhouse. Now this isn't the part that I was trying to show y'all. I did pull the stuff on this side. It just looked really bad, right? But look at this side. Look at that. I'm pretty sure these are kale or collards, so we're leaving it. They are picking up, they are growing, and we love it. Pretty sure these are collards too. It doesn't look great, and it might be getting ready to flower. Same thing here, kale or collards, but it's looking good. This was a tender sweet cabbage. I pulled that. It was already going to flower. These are Brussels sprouts, but we're going to pull those this week. I think that's a cabbage, Brussels sprout, and these are cabbages. My point is things started growing. So that is the video for today. That is me planting out my potatoes. Actually, this is me getting everything done that I wanted to be done this week. Done, aside from that one last green stalk that I still gotta amend. But anyway, y'all, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.